Digivation Network.
Hello and welcome to the program, Digivation Network, your most authentic and reliable African's leading digital news platform on television. I am Adaze Okeaine, standing in for the regular anchor, Bayo Agabi. Remember, you can also be part of the show by subscribing to our YouTube channel, www.youtube.com/Digivation Network, and follow us on our social media platforms displayed on your screen.
I am Bayo Agabi. Welcome you to this new Join us.
This is Digivation Network.
In this edition, we'll take a look at emerging technologies that are set to assist in the eradication of one of the most deadly yet preventable diseases, malaria. But before this, let's take a look at the issues that made news during the week.
This is AIT Infotech Network, reaching you from Freetown in Sierra Leone,
Accra, the Ghanaian capital,
Addis Ababa in Ethiopia, Johannesburg in South Africa,
we are in Cairo in Egypt,
Tunis, the Tunisian capital,
Cape Town in South Africa,
reaching you from Dubai, Hanover in Germany,
live from Chicago, Las Vegas in the United States of America, Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia, we are in Beijing, China, in London, England.
I am Bayo Agabi. Join us.
As the economy of Nigeria continues to struggle in the midst of the current challenges of COVID-19 pandemic, internet criminals and fraudsters keep increasing by the day too. Financial fraud has taken a new turn in the Nigerian society, and it's not showing signs of going away soon. It is for this purpose Digivation Network organized a roundtable discussion to discuss financial fraud, security challenges, and solutions.
Financial fraud is not new. It has been on for a long while, but it's more evident because of the pandemic-induced normalcy, you understand, because unlike the pre-pandemic period, now the pandemic has driven a lot of financial institutions to rely on e-channels, you understand, and because you couldn't just walk into the bank and conduct your transactions.
Bucket of frauds are the digital frauds that happen using computer systems or electronic devices like telephones, iPads, mobile devices, laptops, etc. That's where we have a lot of the frauds happening now.
Dr. David Isiawe, while speaking during the program, emphasized on different ways criminals can explore to defraud an unsuspecting customer.
And studies have shown that the bulk of frauds are happening 90% and above on different channels. And how are they happening? They can be through phishing, simple phishing. So a lot of us will be receiving email messages from different sources announcing different things. And the fraudsters are also very smart. So they take advantage of current happenings in the economy.
Some of the questions that were raised during the discussion is the issue of insider cooperation, bank response to fraud claims, and the role telecoms industry can play in helping the banks fight this social menace.
Actually, when it comes to large-scale attacks against financial institutions and against customer data, you understand, most insider threats are caused by the insider supplying third party with customers' information, critical information, such as their PIN, their token, even their date of birth.
The telecoms providers should collaborate more with the financial service providers that collaboration is not well enough. A lot of the times, you find out that when there's a fraud and the fraud has to be investigated quickly so that we can get to the root of it. But when you start engaging with the telecoms providers, that the level of collaboration, the openness is really not there.
The discussion ended with submissions on how the bank can better secure themselves and their customers, with emphasis on localizing awareness and adaptation of better safety protocols.
There is need for two things essentially. First one is robust awareness by all customers about what to do and what to do. We keep saying it, do not divulge information, do not, but customers keep doing it.
I think the bank, just like I mentioned, should take that responsibility of advertising and putting that awareness out of the respective codes for blocking accounts. And they should not just do that for just blocking accounts, but they should do that for also allowing Nigerians to be able to block the channels that are enabled to them by default. I don't want mobile banking. This is the code for it. Block it immediately.
While the world gradually settles into the new normal, one thing remains unchanged in many parts of Africa, and that is the high rate of malaria infections and death. Malaria is the second deadliest killer in Africa. While World Health Organization and United Nations partner with government agencies and non-governmental organizations in an ongoing battle against malaria, technology offers a solution. Let's take a look at this. The saying, "Invention is the mother of necessity," rings true for this tech company whose audacious goal is to fight malaria in Africa using artificial intelligence. While majority of African countries, including Nigeria, continue to battle with the deadly malaria, technology just may offer an innovative solution. Zap, an Israeli tech company, has risen to the challenge of eradicating malaria. In this report, we consider how an Israeli tech company is leading the way to leverage artificial intelligence to eradicate malaria in Africa. Please do click to subscribe to exciting videos and drop your comments in the comment section. Malaria is a life-threatening disease caused by parasites that are transmitted to people through the bites of the infected female Anopheles mosquito. It is preventable and curable. A child dies of malaria every 2 minutes, and more than 400,000 people die of malaria every year. According to the World Health Organization, Africa accounts for 94% of malaria cases and deaths. Every year, United Nations and World Health Organizations donate funds to fight against this preventable and treatable scourge. They are not alone. An Israeli tech company, Zap, has joined in the fight against this deadly enemy. Zap Malaria makes use of artificial intelligence to identify malaria-bearing mosquito hotspots in Africa. We speak with the Vice President of Partnerships, Michael Ben Aaron, to tell us more about this app.
We are an app that makes it possible to eradicate malaria. Our goal is the complete elimination of malaria, and what we do is we work with governments, NGOs, anybody really who wants to eliminate malaria, and we help them manage the operation, predict what the mosquitoes will be, and make it possible to make malaria a thing of the past. We have been tested in Ghana, in Kenya, in Tanzania, and we hope to embark on a few more trials soon. Basically, what we do is we help locate, malaria is caused by mosquitoes. Mosquitoes breed in water sources. The most effective way to treat malaria is to get rid of the mosquitoes. No mosquitoes, no malaria. Problem solved. What we're good at is finding the water sources. And our trial in Ghana has shown that with our app versus without the app, people find more than twice the amount of water sources. And if you find all of the water sources and you treat them, there's no more mosquitoes. Basically, complete eradication of malaria is possible if you find 90% of water sources around any area. And we make that possible. So it's super effective. So basically what the system does is it collects information from satellites, then it identifies the houses. So it can smartly identify where each house is on the map. And then it also uses topographical data, weather data, and a variety of algorithms that are based on previous operations to predict where more water sources would be found. Then it divides the whole area into 10 meter by 10 meter squares and sends employees to the field to look for the water sources. So for example, if right now you want to do this anywhere in Nigeria, you need to send people out and tell them, go look for water sources. There's no system here. This creates a grid and says, look, in this square, you're much more likely to find water sources. In this square, you're less likely. So it helps you do almost complete coverage of the whole area. And by that, make sure you're not missing a single water source and kill all the mosquitoes. We provide the technology and we train them. That's correct. But the people who hire are the local Ministry of Health, the municipality, various factories. So in Ghana, for example, we're working with a gold mine that wants to protect the community around it. In Kenya, it was a municipality. It really depends. Basically, whoever is in charge of controlling malaria, that's who we work with. They hire the people, we provide the technology and the training. So we are working, yes, that's basically my job in the company, is to approach those people and try to do it. Because look, at the end of the day, I'm Israeli. Right now, I'm talking to you from Israel. Usually I'm based in Ghana, actually, but right now I'm in Israel. And we had malaria. Italy had malaria, Greece had malaria, Egypt had malaria. None of us have malaria anymore. I hear the stories from my grandparents, so it's possible. What needs to happen is the paradigm shift. Right now, the shift says you can't really find all the water sources and you can't really kill all the mosquitoes, so we should do mitigation. We should do mosquito nets. We should do IRS. IRS stands for internal residual spraying. It's when a house gets sprayed and the paint of the house is deadly to mosquitoes. So if a mosquito bites you and then lands on the wall, it dies. So those are the methods. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to separate between the mosquito and the human.
Although the World Health Organization has declared 38 countries malaria-free since 1955, the fight against malaria is an ongoing battle, as malaria-carrying mosquitoes have become resistant to drugs and insecticides and bed nets that protect people from being bitten while sleeping. The vision of making Africa a malaria-free continent is achievable, but only if we all work together with effective healthcare systems and, of course, input from technology. Please click to subscribe and drop your comments on what you think about using artificial intelligence to combat the deadly malaria. You can watch more of the interview on using artificial intelligence to eradicate malaria-bearing mosquitoes and hotspots in Africa on www.youtube.com/Digivation Network. Now, if you have just joined us, you're still watching Digivation Network. For more details, please join us via our YouTube channel, www.youtube.com/Digivation Network.
This is Digivation Network.
In this documentary, we explore the world of hacking and how organizations fall prey to cyber. Big thanks to ABC for that report on cybersecurity. Coming up is our top fives, which features the top 5 tech trends of 2020 with Gideon Tobiloba. After which we join our guest of the week. He is Biodun Omoni. He is an ICT expert and has some salient points on the prospects of Nigeria and Africa at large in the growing global ecosystem.
I am Bayero Agabi, welcoming you to this new ride, a digital ride that takes you into the lifestyle experience of innovation, tech impact, and new business frontiers. This is Digivation Network. On a weekly basis, we keep you well informed of developments and trends. Now the tech ecosystem is impacting politics, business, public and private enterprise management, plus how the new digital life can transform your business. I am Bayero Agabi. Join us.
This is Digivation Network.
Hello everyone, I welcome you to another edition of the Top 5s on Digivation Network. I'm your host, Gideon Tobiloba. Technology today is evolving at a very fast pace, and the world has changed a lot more due to the outbreak of COVID-19, making IT professionals realize that they will constantly be learning, unlearning, and relearning out of necessity, if not desire. Last year was no doubt a very challenging one for everyone on the planet, and this gave rise to different innovations, and some existing innovations enjoyed wider global patronage that cemented their relevance. So for today, let's have a look at the top 5 new technology trends of 2020. Standing on my number 5 is quantum computing. Quantum computing is a form of computing quantum entanglement. Quantum computing markets are projected to surpass $2.5 billion by 2029. Going straight to number 4, which is virtual reality and augmented reality. VR immerses the user in an environment while AR enhances their environment. Although this technology trend has primarily been used for gaming thus far, it has also been used for training, as with virtual ship, a simulation software used to train US Navy, Army, and Coast Guard ships captains. The global AR and VR market is expected to grow to tech jobs. Also, the need for proper cybersecurity is so high that by the end of this year, $6 trillion would have been spent globally on cybersecurity. I'm sure these are not what you were expecting, but trust me, it's on these platforms other technologies that thrived during the pandemic leveraged on. So my advice is, if you're looking for a career that won't be threatened by future innovations, look in these areas. On this note, I put a curtain on the segment today. Until I come your way again next time, I remain Gideon Tobiloba.
Now is an in-depth interview with Biodo Omoni, an IT expert. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Can you tell us, how did your journey into the ICT industry start?
When I was in school, meaning when I was in the university, IT was the happening things. Incidentally, I studied engineering at the University of Ilorin. I studied electrical engineering. I remember then, that we needed to do. I mean, as an electrical engineering student, I'd always loved computers. Maybe I've heard about it. I never really touched it. That was about 35 years ago. Almost 40 years ago, really. Almost about 40 years ago that I started. So I've been hearing about computers. Then I had the quest to want to know more about computers. So it became a natural line for me to start looking for where I'm going to get an opportunity to practice what I have studied. Yes, communication was common at that time. We all remember NITEL, P&T, NET, and I even did some of my IT in communication company. The second IT, as a student, I had the opportunity of actually undertaking it in a computer firm. Okay, so I was able to truly live my dream even while growing up.
Having played in the ICT sector for several years, what can you say is the prospect for Africa in this ecosystem?
The ecosystem is also even now becoming social media. It became social media. There are so many things. So in my short life, I moved from being a system integrator, of being an entrepreneur, of being a system integrator, being a computer engineer, being a communication engineer, communication entrepreneur, computer entrepreneur, you know. So now, and there were software developers. I mean, so in the Bitcom of then, we had a software development unit, we had the hardware unit, we had the communication unit. So all of them, I saw them as being the same. Now, if we were still running Bitcom, then we probably would be in the payment system. It still will be the same thing. if we are not in the payment system, we probably will be in the social media space. So it's exciting, and the opportunity is much.
How can Nigeria break into the top 10 ICT countries in the nearest future?
We are not close to it. We are not there yet. We are not doing the right things. And if we are, if whatever we think we are doing, we are just consumers. Right now, we are just consumers. Yes, we have population. We will have a few people that will spark. I take it that we normally compare ourselves and say, oh, we'll be the next people, like India. We could, but we need to pay attention to educating those youthful population. So, would you say the quality of our education could be world class today? I remember when we were in secondary school, we had some Indian teachers in our secondary school, in Nigerian secondary schools. Even when I was in the university, we were using Indian books. So these are the foundation that created that economy in places like that. So that means they had a crop of educated people who are impacting knowledge on the coming generation. It's probably those coming generation that we are now seeing. So are we building our own system to do that? If we are not, then we are far from it.
All right. Do you think we are close to becoming one of the top ICT countries in the world?
Generally, I would say yes. Some going to actually work somehow, somewhere, at one time, and I want to believe that VDT is going to be there if we are consistently following the path that we have laid.
Thank you for joining us. That's the show for this week. You can reach us via our YouTube channel, www.youtube.com/Digivation Network. And on behalf of our regular anchor, Bayo Agabi, I am Adaze Okiaine. Thank you for watching. Till next week.